So you're thinking about cooking up some pork neck bones? Let me tell you, it's not like grilling up some hamburgers and hot dogs. This takes a bit more finesse and a bit more attention to detail. But I don't want you to worry about any of that today. Because in today's video, I'm gonna take you start to finish on how to make some flavorful, tender, melt in your mouth pork neck bones on your charcoal grill. And guess what? It's all gonna be in under 3 hours. That sounds good to you? Let's dive in. Before we get into today's video, just wanted to give a huge thank you to our channel members. Channel memberships are a great way to further support the channel, get additional perks, and access to more exclusive content. If you'd like to learn more about our channel memberships, please see the link in the description below. Before we get on the grill, let's talk about the keys to making these pork neck bones turn out just right. These aren't your typical ribs or wings. Neck bones need a little extra care to bring out their best. That's why I'm focusing on 3 specific keys to get the results we want, so that we get some tender, flavorful, and perfectly cooked neck bones. Throughout this cook, watch closely for how we tackle each of these steps. These steps may seem simple, but when done right, they make the difference between dry, tough meat and tender, smoky, fall off the bone goodness. First up is getting the meat tender. Pork neck bones are known for their connective tissue, so if you want these bones to get soft and juicy, we have to take our time and set up the grill right. We're using the indirect method today, which means we're keeping the meat away from the direct heat, letting it cook slowly to break down that tough tissue. Also, you can't forget moisture. We'll show you multiple techniques today for ensuring the neck bones retain moisture. Patience is key here, and you'll see how we use time, temperature, and moisture to get that tenderness just right. Next up, flavor. We're not just aiming for smoky. We're layering flavors that'll make each bite unforgettable. Today, we're adding hickory and pecan wood chunks to the coals, which will give a mix of strong smoky tones with a bit of sweet nuttiness. It's about building a rich flavor profile that makes these neck bones unique. Keep an eye out for how we add these wood chunks and adjust the grill so that our neck bones absorb all that smoky flavor goodness. And finally, we have to remember to take our time. This isn't a quick sear or a fast grill. It's a slow and steady cook. Rushing only risks drying out the meat or losing that smoky depth we're looking for. So we're pacing ourselves, monitoring the heat, and giving the pork neck bones the time they need to reach that perfect tenderness and flavor. Good things come to those who wait, especially when grilling neck bones. So, as we go through today's cook, keep these 3 keys in mind. I'll be pointing out exactly how each step connects back to these keys, so you'll see firsthand how to bring out the best in pork neck bones. Now, let's get started. Today we're going with 1 chimney starter full of Kingsford Original charcoal briquettes. My preferred way for lighting charcoal is by using chimney starters. I stopped using lighter fluid years ago. If you need some additional help with using chimney starters, I'll drop a card up above and drop a link down in the description below to a video dedicated to showing you how to use chimney starters. Here's a rundown of the seasonings we'll be using today: some extra virgin olive oil, some sea salt, and some black pepper. After rinsing your neck bones and patting them dry with some paper towels, you can go ahead and remove any extra fat. Our neck bones contain quite a bit of internal fat that's going to render and really get them nice and juicy and tender, so you can remove any extra fat right now and don't even worry about it. It's not going to impact the taste of our neck bones. Now we're ready to apply our seasonings. First, let's rub down both sides with some extra virgin olive oil. Olive oil serves a couple of purposes. 1, it's going to help protect the moisture in our food as we subject it to some high temperatures. And 2, it's going to help us build up a nice outer crust as well. Let's now add our dry seasonings. It's important here that we work the seasonings into the meat by patting or rubbing so that they really penetrate those fibers. This is going to help further tenderize the meat and ensure it has a complete and uniform flavor profile throughout. After seasoning the meat, I like to let it sit on the countertop for several minutes to allow it to come up to room temperature. This is going to help those muscle fibers relax. This is an additional step I like to take to help ensure our meat gets tender. For today's grilling session, we'll be using the indirect method, which is commonly referred to as the two-zone technique. This technique is where you separate your grill into two zones. Zone number 1 is where we'll place our charcoal. Zone number 2 will not have any charcoal. This is where we'll position our food to create that convection oven-like environment that will allow our food to cook more evenly and gives it an opportunity to absorb all that smoky flavor goodness. When you're setting up your grill for the two-zone technique like this, make sure you position your coals to be on the opposite side of your grill's exhaust stack. This is going to force all that smoke and flavor to travel across your food before exiting out the exhaust vent. If you're using a kettle-style grill, you simply turn your lid and position the exhaust vent on your lid to be on the opposite side of the charcoal. For today's grilling session, I'm going with my standard vent configuration. We'll set the bottom intake vents to be wide open, and we'll set the exhaust vent on the lid to be halfway. I've logged hundreds of hours over the years on this 22-inch Weber kettle and have determined this is my ideal vent configuration. If we need to make adjustments to our vents for the sake of temperature, we'll make these adjustments to the exhaust vent. If you need more help with regulating temperature on your charcoal grill, I'll drop a card here to a video for you to check out. Prior to putting our meat on the grill, let's add a half of aluminum tray to zone number 2. We'll add some water and a little apple cider vinegar to this tray as well. Remember, one of the keys for today's cook is to get these neck bones tender, and in order to do that, we need to make sure we keep them moist throughout this cook. This tray will also help with cleanup, collecting the grease that renders off the neck bones. I'm going to add 1 hickory and 1 pecan chunk to zone number 1. After adding them, let's keep the lid off for a few minutes just to ensure they break out into flames so that they burn hot and not just smolder. Since we added some hardwood to our grill for additional flavor, let's get the grill closed and keep an eye on the lid's exhaust vent to make sure we're producing a nice clean smoke. As you can see here, we're looking good. The smoke coming out of the exhaust vent isn't thick and white. It's thin with almost a blue color to it. That's what we're looking for. That means our wood is burning nice and clean. So we just got our neck bones on the grill, and I think we're gonna let them go for an hour or so before we go and check back in. Now, I've gone ahead and opened up the exhaust vent on the lid of the Weber to be wide open. I did that because we're only using 1 chimney starter today. I wanted to make sure we had good air circulation and good drafting in our grill, so we have our exhaust vent set to wide open. Now, the temperature range we want to hit today is between 250 to 375 degrees. Remember the keys for today's cook? Low and slow, and don't get in a hurry. So we want to be in that 250 to 375 range. Now, speaking of keys of the cook, got a quiz question for you. Why did I only use 1 chimney starter full of charcoal today? Now, if you watch the channel, you know I typically run with 2 chimney starters. But why did I only use 1? I'll let you think about it for a minute. If you said because of temperature control, you would be correct. Think about it. We're trying to go low and slow. To help yourself when you're cooking at lower temperatures like this, try dialing back the amount of charcoal you use. I see a lot of people make this mistake, and I know I made the mistake early on, is trying to put too much charcoal on your grill and then think you can magically come in and adjust your exhaust vent and intake vent to hit some type of temperature you're looking for. It doesn't work like that. If you put too much charcoal on the grill, it's gonna burn hot. And I don't care what adjustments you make on the grill, if you put too much charcoal on there, you're not gonna be able to hit any type of temperature you're looking for. So if you're struggling with your grill running hot, dial back the amount of charcoal you're using, and that could really help you out a lot. Now, if you need more help on how to adjust or maintain temperature on a charcoal grill, I'll drop a link to a video I did that's dedicated to that down below, and I'll drop some cards up above for you to go and check out. It's been about an hour. Here's a view of our thermometer that I've got positioned through one of the vents on the lid of our Weber. Let's go in and manage our grill. We'll flip and rotate as necessary. Let's also give our neck bones a spritz with our spritzer, which consists of 3 parts water and 1 part apple cider vinegar. Remember our keys to today's cook. We've got to keep these neck bones moist to help them get tender. So it's just been an hour. We've had our neck bones on the grill. We've already flipped them and they're cooking nicely. Now we've been able to maintain a temperature of between 300 and 320 degrees Fahrenheit, and I am totally good with that. We are right there in our sweet spot. And remember the keys for today's cook. Don't be in a hurry, go low and slow, and also we gotta get these neck bones tender. And when it comes to tender, man, keep these 3 things in mind. It's time, it's temperature, and it's moisture. So time, we're looking good. We're not rushing these things. Temperature, we're looking good. We're right in the zone. That means we have to take care of moisture. So let's recap some of the things that we've done so far to do that. Number 1, we put that olive oil on those neck bones. That olive oil is going to help them retain the moisture in them and protect them from some of those high temperatures inside the grill. Number 2, we put a drip pan, that aluminum tray we put in zone number 2, right underneath those neck bones. Not only is it there to collect the grease, but we put some water and apple cider vinegar in there to help get the moisture table up inside of the grill to keep them moist. And last thing we've done, we've spritzed them, right? I came in with my all-purpose spritzer, give them a nice spritz to keep them moist. And we're not done yet. Once we get on here in a little bit, I'm gonna show you yet another step we're gonna do to make sure that these neck bones are moist and we get them tender today. It's been about 2 hours. Here's a view of our grill's temperature gauge. Let's get an internal temperature reading on these neck bones. It looks like they're temping between 160 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, so they are ready to be wrapped. I'm going to get these neck bones off the grill and we'll head inside and we'll discuss what comes next. Our neck bones are off the grill, and I'm going to add some additional moisture to the tray, and then we're going to double wrap the tray with some aluminum foil. I'm doing this because I don't want any moisture to escape from our tray while we have it in the oven. Now we're ready to put our neck bones in our oven that's been preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll let these neck bones steam for about 45 minutes. So we're back inside right now, and I've got our neck bones in the oven. I preheated the oven to 375 degrees, and we're gonna let the neck bones go for about 45 minutes. And at this point, I am okay with finishing them off in the oven. Because think about it, up to now they've been on the grill for 2 hours. We've let them absorb all that smoke, all that flavor, but now we're gonna put them in the oven so that they can tenderize a bit more. We wrapped up that foil tray real tight. That's gonna create a nice steamy environment inside of that tray. And what do we need for tenderness? What did we talk about in the keys? We need moisture, and that's going to be a real moist environment with all that steam, and that's going to further break down that connective tissue. So we're going to give them about 45 minutes to steam, and then we'll be right back. It's been 45 minutes, and let's check on our neck bones. Man, if only you could smell these neck bones as I pull back this foil. It's very aromatic. You can smell all the different flavors that only come from being on a charcoal grill. Now I want to check the tenderness. These neck bones are right on point. The internal temperature on these came back between 200 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's exactly where we want to be. Our neck bones are done. Let's go ahead and round up the rest of the family, and I'll see you at the dinner table. All right, y'all, it's about that time. We're at the table. Got my family around me. Noah's right here, Judah's right here. Got my rest of the family on the side, so let's dive in. First of all, y'all, are they tender?
Yes.
They're tender? Mm-hmm. Good, good. So let's get into it, y'all. First, show you this neck bone right there. That's that backside. I'm going for this part right here. Let's go. Ooh-wee. Y'all saw it. Oh man. That flavor is good, y'all. It almost reminds you of a rib. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It almost reminds you of like a baby back, almost. But I guess a richer taste though. But this is great, man. Amazing taste. So flavorful. Remember, we kept our seasoning simple today. So I can taste that hickory. I can taste the pecan. I can taste the charcoal smoky flavor. I can really appreciate those natural flavors when they get imparted up on the meat, since we didn't over season it, right? We did just enough. But this is absolutely amazing. Man, this is good, y'all. I'm gonna go in on that backside right now. Y'all can see that. That's the bone side. Just take a bite. Effortless. So y'all definitely give these neck bones a try. Remember the technique we followed today too, right? We had different phases. That first phase, we were on the grill, doing what we had to do on the grill. Remember, we didn't neglect moisture. When you grilling a cut of meat like this, you got to be mindful of the cut of meat you're grilling. Some of these cuts need more attention to break down those fibers, to break down that connective tissue. So definitely follow the techniques we showed you here today, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. So this is after dinner right here. Man, I love cooking for my family. So my boys are just loving up on me now. Let me know how much they love me. Let me know how much they appreciated the work we put on the grill today. So man, ain't nothing like the satisfaction of grilling for your family.